want to start by recounting something that happened this past week. My wife Kim and I, we attend 2 of our home groups as a way of encouraging home group participation. If you're not in a home group, you need to be in one. We were leaving the Rossman Takayoshi home group. We had just got done playing a game called, what was it, Things? The Game of Things. It was good. It was funny. I'm driving home, and all of a sudden I got, from out of the blue, popping into my mind, pictures of my trips to Haiti in 2001, 2002. I used to be a missionary with Campus Crusade for Christ for 5 years, and actually had been involved in some projects in Haiti in 2001, 2002, working with a Haitian native pastor there named Caleb Lucien. And so hadn't thought, though, for years about things. And all of a sudden, as I'm driving, I'm getting these pictures of the road to Cap Haitian, which is when we were kind of thrown in the back of a rickety old flatbed truck and broken roads and so on. And so I'm driving in my mind, not just down the street in Noblesville, but driving. And it was strange. And so I mentioned this to Kim, that I said, this is what's happening, and aren't we blessed here in America, or whatever I said, some innocuous, probably insipid thing. But kind of strange, didn't think much of it. Went home, saw on television that there'd been this huge earthquake in Haiti. Now, is there anyone here who's ever been to Haiti? Raise your hand if you've been to Haiti. Okay. No one? That's all right. If you've been to Haiti, the thought of an earthquake like that paralyzes you. And because the conditions already were so, the infrastructure and the means of living are already so frail, advanced third world poverty, that the thought of having that suddenly broken up, you kind of go into this a few minutes of where you just can't think. You're stunned, just completely stunned. So I went to pray about this, and what came to my mind was, yes, pray for the people, but pray that God would bring an earth-shaking revival. I just kept getting an earth-shaking revival. And I was reminded of Nicaragua. Now, I don't know if you were around in the 60s when Mick Jagger was going out with Bianca Jagger, and if they're on the internet listening, how you doing? But that there was a situation where Nicaragua was experiencing such a terrible situation, very similar, that there was a lot of outpouring in world aid going to Nicaragua. Well, I agree with those who point to that event as having been catalytic in the current indigenous revival that's taking place in Nicaragua and actually throughout Latin America. There had been missionary work in Nicaragua, but it was that earthquake that it was so catalytic in bringing together and firing up the revival that's been taking place in Nicaragua ever since, that you almost have to say, Lord, he loves to take things that the enemy meant for evil or that just happen and turn them into good. Now, don't misunderstand me. I don't mean to belittle the suffering that's going on in Haiti, but I just kept getting that connection. Pray for earth-shaking revival to happen in Haiti. Pray for earth-shaking revival to continue in Nicaragua. Pray that God's will would be done, that His kingdom would come on earth as it is in heaven. And as I kept kind of meditating on that, I was really struck by the fact that God looks at a fallen world, a broken world, and He always sees potential. Always. Do you understand that when you get up in the morning, He looks at you and sees potential in you? Do I understand that? Do we believe it? There's a lot of reasons in this world to be depressed or upset. But we have a great God.